My first question for you, Eyal. Could you tell us a little bit about your background? Where did you do your studies? How did you start your career?
Studies. No studies whatsoever. In the middle of high school, I decided that this is not the right path for me. So I started a career as a photographer, had a studio, and we did a lot of branding and graphic design and everything around communication and media. About 2 years in, having 4 employees in the studio, I sort of decided that sitting back there and kind of seeing the problems that we hear about from far away was not the right thing for me to do. So I started traveling the world and kind of shifted to a more documentary aspect. So really feeling the communication and the community that you get in touch with was what I found more interesting. And there's something quite magical that happens when you get in touch with people. I couldn't accept the fact that we hear about problems all the time and we're being fed by either social media or news channels of whatever sort, and I wanted to see it for myself. And this is what kind of made me, travel, basically.
So you're traveling as a photographer and you're shooting documentaries. Where exactly in the world?
From the Philippines to Chile, so really all over. I was always trying to get to the places that were more interested or less covered, because to me I have this tool of a camera, and to me it's sort of like the microphone that I'm holding now, but just for other people. So I could use it to sort of give other people a way of communication, give them a voice to speak, and I always try in my photography to sort of let things speak for themselves and sort of let the subjects lead my way and help them tell the stories that they want to tell.
So now coming to Hilico, what made you do that? What made you, have that shift in your career from photography to entrepreneurship?
It was quite a coincidence. We stumbled upon a natural disaster in one of the places that I traveled to, and you're around. You offer help, and from planning to stay there for about a day and a half, I stayed there over 2 weeks, and you learn that disaster relief is a thing that people do. You were not aware of that before, and you realize that a lot of people like me are actually quite crazy. And they go around the world from natural disaster to war zone to refugee camp, and they offer help with whatever they can. Once I learned that this is something that you could do, I couldn't not do it because I was exposed to that option. So I started traveling the world volunteering, again, sort of with the camera in hand. So I was always trying to kind of share the stories from those places. And because I don't have a day job or a wife and kids to go back to, so I was able to do it a lot more frequently than others. So we kind of learn about the problems more in depth. And what happened is that we started realizing that no matter where we go to in the world and no matter which kind of disaster we encounter, water is always the biggest issue. And a lot of the disasters are actually a result of rain. And we started looking at rainwater and why wasn't it being utilized. And we realized that, to make a very long story very short, basically technology is not there yet. So we started communicating with companies who were generating water technology and tell them, hey, we're here in the field, we need solutions, help us out. Nothing really was cutting it because people weren't with us there, so I didn't feel the market. So I contacted my best friend who's here in the audience. He's a brilliant mechanical engineer. And I told him, look, I need a product. The product needs to be able to do this in a cost that is less than that, and it needs to weigh less than this so we can take it around, blah, blah, blah. Luckily, he's very talented, so it was a quick thing. We never wanted to start a company. I mean, that was never our intention. We took it to...
So So you're an entrepreneur that never wanted to start a company. That's
Yeah.
really funny.
Still, I'm not sure. I mean, if it's a good idea or not. No. We took it to people the NGOs basically, and we said, well, there you go, we solved it. And they said, well, yeah, or now what? So we started a process of developing a product and not just a solution.
So the product is a way to collect the water from the rains at a very cheap cost. Can you tell us what cost is?
Well, it depends who you are, but we consider it to be, at least for the efficiency, the cheapest in the world. The whole thing weighs less than a single kilogram, so you can take it around everywhere, and it's very, very small. And we like to call it the world's first portable rain harvesting device. So that's something new that we offer.
You told me that this solution existed before, but the problem you had, as when you were working for NGOs, was that those solutions were way too expensive. Although they were designed by the best scientists and engineers in the world, they were just so expensive.
Yeah, we were offered a lot of solutions that were the size of a building, and they do an incredible job, but I can't take it with me to where there is an earthquake. So we realized, I mean, it's not fair because we were the market. So we realized very quickly what the market needs, so very quickly we were able to develop it. It's one of those things that you have to adapt and not to create. So if we go back to the lab and create an incredible technology that offers something completely new, that might become handy in about 5 years, but we need something now. So we took technologies that I can't say they didn't exist before, tarps and filters and straps and all those things. We were just kind of found a way to adapt it to those who really need it. So that is what we offer.
So where are you at right now?
Station F.
Yes, we are in Station F. Meaning in terms of growth, capital, team, what are the next steps for you?
So we raised a very small seed investment that helped us to get thus far. We finished development, we have the patent, we have R&D, we have the whole thing going. We're ready for mass production. So the reason we came here is to sort of find ways to collaborate either with investors for funding or with bigger corporations to sort of enlarge their presence in CSR or things of that sort.
So you told me that Hilico has a unique giving back model.
You're telling all the secrets I told you.
So can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. Basically, it's a result of the journey that we've had. We realized very quickly this will not work if we are not able to generate a community around the product. So it's one thing to go to the slums of Mumbai, which I don't know if you see the photos, but this is where we had our pilot. The people there understand their needs, but the people in Paris, not always, or New York, or anywhere else in the global north. What we're trying to do is to develop a way so if you, for instance, buy the product here, so on your behalf, we're giving one to someone in the slum, someone who needs it, or a natural disaster victim, or anything of that sort. So this is kind of like a model that helps us not just to solve a problem, but to sort of raise awareness to this problem and to perhaps inspire other people to solve further problems. So we're trying to enlarge that scale as well.
So what's the future for Hilico? What can we hope for you?
I hope that next time I'm here, I can already tell you that this is the amount of people that now have access to clean water, and they didn't have that before. I hope that we're able to get back to the sketchbook and develop our next solution for the next problem that we want to tackle, because we have a sketchbook full of them. And more than anything, I hope that we inspire more people that are maybe sitting here in the audience or listening somewhere to go for it and solve their own problems. Because we hear more often than not that you don't have experience, you don't have resources, this is not the right time. It is never the right time. You will never have enough resources. And you are the person who's going to solve the problem, because no God is going to come in hand, no government. It's all about you. And if I could maybe inspire someone to do this, themselves, then that's what we're hoping for. So product out there, people benefiting from it, future work for other problems that we see in the horizon, and inspiration for hopefully generations to come.
And one last question, and then I'll open it to the audience. But what do you think that the fact that you dropped out of high school and that you
My mother is here in the audience. I'm sure she doesn't like hearing about this once again.
But do you think that how do you feel that your experience, your personal story, is helping you every day in your career and in your venture?
I wouldn't look down upon anyone who did go to high school, because I'm sure they learned quite a lot. My way of doing things was always sort of out of the mainstream. So it helped me in the way that I didn't accept what the teachers told me that the truth is. I didn't accept what the media told me that the truth is. I wanted to see it with my own eyes. And when you see it with your own eyes, so you learn things that it's almost hard to put in words. And I think this also helped me get over the obstacles of, because the previous speaker said something really true. You hear a lot of no's, and it's not just no's for funding, but it's no's from so-called experts who are telling you this will never work. And I think the yeses, they start to come when you communicate with the people to which you aim to help, because we didn't want to make decisions for anyone, like we didn't like to other people were making decisions for us. So we went to the slums of Mumbai not to show them a solution, that's it, we're done, to ask them, to communicate with them. What do you think we should do? What do you think about this product? What do you think the future of water consumption is? And once you communicate off the mainstream or off the popular way of communicating, I believe you get much better results. But I mean, it's just my opinions. Other people might tell you other things.
Thanks, Eyal. I think we have time just for one, max 2 questions. Anyone? No, I'm sure they are. Yeah, one question here, on the right. Can we get a mic? No, okay, I'll give it to you.
How much will the final product cost, and when will it be available?
It's up to you. Depends for whom. We're aiming for a differential pricing system. So if, let's say, we're selling the product here for, let's say, $100, and then for this price, we're also giving it to someone in India. So obviously, for the NGO, in the local NGOs in the slums of India, it would cost a lot less. So we're trying to sort of find a way to balance the pricing system so it would be affordable for everyone. That's basically the reason. And for availability, fingers crossed, within months.
Second question.
Hi, I saw the device online on now, and it's very interesting. They managed to do that with less than a kilo, which is very good. But just if you could walk us through, what would you think would be the proper usage of it? Because then you also have, you can capture rainwater, but then you have a storage issue, then and also if you're working for really simple people. So what would you think would be the ideal usage?
So maybe I should elaborate. The product provides the full cycle. So it's collection, filtration, and storage, everything within one product. We realized, I mean, once we started with collection, and then people told us, well, what about dust and things that come inside the water? So we added filtration. And then we realized that we could collect all the water we want to collect, but people store it in contaminated buckets, and we didn't do anything. So we provided collapsible tanks. So they're foldable to about this size, but they hold a lot of water. So as long as you don't touch anything else, you get clean water, the full cycle, and then you can put it back in the bag about this size, and it's there for you to use.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Eyal, very much
Thank you.
for being here.
Thank you for making this happen.